Well, I'm gonna just record a little bit because I wanted to do like a quick media 2025 media wrap up, and just kind of talk about like our favorite pieces of media from like games or TV or movies we watched this year. I mean, I think you probably played some of games that were released this year, right?
For sure. I mean, I have to look at like on a list what technically was released this year, and
I had to look
but
too.
I for sure.
So yeah, this is our 2025 media wrap up, year end review of different media we partook in, and we're just going to talk a little bit about it and what we liked and maybe what we weren't expecting that was kind of like a sleeper hit or whatever else. And yeah, maybe
It's a 2025 media memento mori.
Memento Mori. I like that.
Back to these
Remember
years.
death of 2025 and how we won't have it
Remember the dead
good
media,
again.
guys.
Remember
Remember the
how
media we killed.
we killed the media because nothing will be as good as 2025. Let us know in the comments your favorite piece of media from games, music, TV, movies, anything like that. Comic books,
Let
even.
me know your favorite piece of art, if you can. Not
Oh,
even like
that's actually a good
necessarily,
one.
but it can be
A piece of
like
art
it
you
doesn't
just
have to be
discovered.
like classic art, but just something fun. Just
I
like
I
I
have
love
one.
that coming across cool images, and I'm like, shit, that rules.
I actually have one. Like this was the year of my discovery of fruitager aesthetic
Yeah,
and like all those.
the early 2000s educational, that whole thing you're talking about.
Yeah, scholastic something or other.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I'll start with my.
There's one that's on my Google feed where it's like how Frank Frazetta did all those fantasy images. It's just like a
Yeah.
smattering of like um, sci-fi images in that sort of same vein, where it's like, oh, a spaceman or like a person in a spacesuit, but inside of the visor it's a skeleton, and they're stepping of a out of a spaceship on an alien planet or something.
Oh, that's awesome because that was like our
I just love
original.
scrolling through random piece of images that
That's
are like art like that, where it's like, oh, we know that this is your vibe. I'm just like, yeah,
that was our original Fargonauts logo was the skeleton cosmonaut.
yep.
Um, but yeah, since you brought up art and things like that, I'll start with one of mine that I discovered an artist because I mean I've probably seen this artist's um, pictures and things like that before in media, but never really got a hold of their name or anything like that. But I discovered what was his name? NC Nywith, I think his name was, or something like that. So, yeah, NC Wyeth. NC Wyeth.
Wise.
So NC Wyeth was a prolific like cover art for books and things like that, and his most notable one was Treasure Island. He did the painting of Treasure Island of all the pirates like walking um, with their muskets and their swords and things like that. But one of the paintings I really liked that he captured was called Giant in the Sky. Um,
Mhm.
and it's a kind of serene beachscape with like kids on like the shore, and it was a windy beach day, really sunny, but they're looking off into the horizon and they see like a giant like in the clouds. And maybe it's just like the cloud looks like a giant, but like it captures that kind of child innocence of like seeing images in the clouds, and like you can
Mhm.
perfectly picture the giant holding a big cudgel over his shoulder,
Mhm.
and just walking past these kids as they're just like they're all looking at him and they see the same thing. But it's just that image, I really connected with it because it just, I don't know, it has a sense of peace, but also like vastness of like the expanse of the
Yeah.
ocean and like the sky. But yeah, his images are really cool to look into. But yeah, since you brought that up, that an artist kind of media piece, I thought I would shed some more light on NCYF.
Well, I will. You made your call out, and I will make my specific call out for a different form of media. I'll talk about the written word, the novella. I read a book earlier this year that I didn't really talk to you and Broadshow about because I specifically like didn't want to be spoiled on it in any way, or like I don't know, but I really really enjoyed it. And it is the book Summer of Night by Dan Simmons.
You did
And
you actually mentioned this, and I have it. I've been listening to it actually.
oh really?
Yeah, so you mentioned it at
Okay.
some point, but I was like,
I
oh,
think I maybe like just mentioned it, but didn't really talk about it
yeah,
because
talk about
it
it a
was just
little bit
something that I
more.
was like. So it was just something that I picked. I went to a half price books around Halloween time, and they had on this little like employee pick section like soft cover horror novels, and so those if you know what I'm talking about, of like soft cover horror novels having very like unique or specific cover imagery sometimes, or
Yep.
the artwork is just like they allow people to, and the titles too are very much like I think one of the titles that I picked up just because of the name was Satan Whispers. And then like
Oh,
things like Summer of Night with that evocative title and a really good cover art and all these things. Picked up some books and I was like, oh yeah, I'm super excited to read these. So I started with Summer of Night, and it is like super Stand By Me, Stephen King's It, and kind of feels a little bit like Lovecraftian with some of the horror, but it is just like a really nicely by the numbers. Like it's not, you know exactly what you're getting. It's a group. It's a story about a group of young boys and children in like the 1960s, maybe even through one summer, and them confronting this like darkness in their town and this evil that starts popping up with missing children and
yep.
people getting murdered
You
and
mentioned
all
that
this stuff happening. And
when we were talking about the Stranger Things was brought up in conversation, you said this is a bit like that in some respects. That's how I remember
kind
you
of,
talking about it.
I mean, in regards of like kids riding around on bicycles and basically just like having to like the no one else is really experiencing these things except for the kids, and the kids having these frank discussions inside of like an old chicken coop of like, hey, these are monsters, right? Like we got to fight these monsters, right? And like, what are we gonna do? Well, we're kids. What are we supposed to do? I don't know. Fucking get glass bottles and fill them up with gasoline, and make Molotovs or some. Like we got to figure it out.
Let's do it.
But it 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 just like hit all the right notes of when it crescendoed, how the horror hit. It does a lot of good tension as well as like keeping certain things a mystery of not explaining like, oh, well, this is where the monsters came from or what they're doing or etc. It gives you just enough, but still leaves enough in shadow to keep you kind of thinking after the fact. And it was just like, just the right flavor for October time, and
Right.
it was just so refreshing to like have that experience of walk into a store, see a book that is engaging from the get-go, pick it up and start reading it, and you're off to the races.
So, what would you give it? Like, was it a quick read? Like, were you invested in it? Did it take you some time, or?
I kind of it was something that I was reading. I read it on my phone. I've actually read a number of books on my phone in the past 10, 15 years, whenever, since that's kind of come around. And it was something that I was reading a lot um, during my downtime at work. So it would be like, I'd have 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 15 minutes here, like just odd kind of like spans of time maybe.
Yeah.
And it was the chapters are just long enough to kind of read it in short spurts like that, and every chapter, like any good suspense or horror novel or something, every chapter kind of like adds something more to it, if not ends on some sort of cliffhanger to keep you reading for the next one.
Right.
Um, it started a little bit slow of just being like, here's the kids, here's the dynamics, here's what's going on, but then once the um, explicit horror things start happening and it's not just creepiness, then you're like, then that's for me, that's what I'm like, okay, if this if this first thing that you're showing me is engaging and I want to see more, I'm in.
That's
If
awesome.
you have to do a lot to shake that tick.
Sure. I'll piggyback on that since I'm in the midst of reading it. I'm not too far into it. I'm like less than 10 chapters in. Um, but I watched the show Welcome to Derry, the It prequel.
I also watched that. that that's another piece of 2025 media we can discuss.
Awesome. And you did watch it, you said?
Yes, I
Okay.
actually I just watched the finale episode last night. Kind of, it was a little bit of a catch up moment for me, but
Okay. Um, so yeah, when did that finale? The finale must have not have been too long ago, right? It must have been like maybe a month ago. They probably finished.
maybe that, yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Did you like the the idea of? Well, we can discuss the implications of it now, but overall, what was your thoughts on it?
Overall, I will always be enthusiastic about um, Bill Skarsgård having the opportunity to perform. Um, he's kind of proved himself to be like, even when he's doing something like Barbarian, where it is a little bit more straight, I
Yeah,
just kind of enjoy the dude at this point. And so, especially Pennywise, that's like a really fun character, and he has a lot of fun doing it. So it's hard to not enjoy that. And
right.
I thought that he did a really great job. Um,
Yeah, I like the
it,
introduction
but
of Bob, or, like
the
that character that he was before
Gray,
Pennywise.
yeah. I mean, so I will say that for the most part, I liked the show
Yeah,
as like an overall general thing, something that I can sit down and watch, and it's watchable. But there are definitely things that I can pick apart if we dig any deeper into it,
yeah,
and that's not even just like episode by episode, but overall structure wise and just elements of the show that I don't think played as strongly as they really could have. And then some things were just like 100%. I was having this conversation last night where characters are saying sentences that these characters in these show, like if you're somebody who's read the books and you know about Maturin the turtle and the ritual of Chud and like all of these other things, the metaverse and all this shit,
and the Deadlights
these
and the
that may well come up in the discussion, but the characters
Todash
in this
space.
show should have no reason to be, yeah, like the characters in this show, Welcome to Derry, should have no reason to be saying these words other than a writer wrote for them to say it to be like tease for another season or engagement for the people who will catch those Easter eggs or who are looking for them.
Right.
And it just cheapens the dialogue when you're like, okay, this is literally just like, it feels like the writer has the actor in a sock puppet and they're just mouth making, like, pantomiming the words.
I can pick up on that.
But
Yeah, I mean,
overall,
we
I enjoyed it.
can get into the nitty gritty of maybe what I am picking up what you're putting down. Like, I like the idea of talking about the pillars around Derry that kind of contain the it, and maybe that implication of what the natives of that
Yeah.
area did was kind of interesting when they used turtle shells to cover those pillars, those shards of that meteor that fell. I I like those kind of piecemeal lore things that keep putting Maturin in those places to cover or be the antithesis of the evil.
Well,
I thought that was interesting, but
See,
like
to me
when they name
that's one
drop
of those things that like
Maturin though, they were like, oh, that's the Maturin route. I'm like, like I don't think you should know Maturin really. Like I don't think he is supposed to
yeah,
be
where the
known
hell does that
by
name come
you.
from?
He's an entity
Yeah, it's
outside of
to
your
me
realm of thought. Like that you shouldn't know this.
when you're adding up like, oh, in the movie there's like the little Lego turtle on somebody's bedside table, or they're swimming in the quarry and somebody says, oh, I think I felt the turtle swim by, and you're adding or like all of these little references without actually being like,
You're not naming it,
here's the
right?
fucking full load. Yeah, it's like you stop dancing around it. This isn't fun
Yeah,
for anybody.
I like the subliminal turtle, like the duck and cover turtle showed up every now and then. Like I was like, sure, duck and cover. That
Sure,
it makes sense, but like when you drop like that's the Maturin route, it will help, you know, Dick Halloran
but
close out the
if they're
noises in his
if
head.
they're willing to show like a clown turn into a jumbled ball of lights that then dissipates in a huge glowing spectacle of magical explosions, why not go the full fucking Monty and have some kid just have a vision of a space turtle? Like, just do it, man.
Yeah, don't dance around it. Just show us like maybe Dick Halloran goes to the Toadash space and all the creatures are flying through, and then he sees Maturin, like a glimpse of him or something like that. You know, like
Or
go all out.
you know how like yeah, or sometimes they show like in a character they'll zoom into a character's eye, and inside of the iris they'll show an image at it to say like, oh, in their mind's eye, or their it's just showing the like the manifestation.
There was that too.
One of the
Did you
kids are
notice
like,
that?
fucking, I don't give a shit.
There was a lot of that eyes expressing or foreshadowing things. Like the character that had kind of like a heroic ending. This is kind of spoiler stuff, but towards the end, Richie, this little heartthrob boy, was being sweet on Margaret, who ends up becoming Margaret Tozier, the mom of one of the characters from the original It. She was walking by the kid in the hallway, and I thought it was such a weird shot because the boy's watching her and he's so sweet on her, but you can't see her eyes. She's reflecting the outside light of the school, and inside her glasses, like the reflection looks like fire. Like it's so
Yeah.
orange and things like that, and you're like, why is her like glasses
Oh shit.
reflecting fire? But you know when
I
you
did
see
not
that,
pick up on that, but yeah,
it
that's
kind of
good.
foreshadows her like he has some kind of like moments in his head of like falling in love with her, and he does like say that to her in so many words. I think after she says it to him, like Ricky, I love you or something like that, or Richie or whatever his name was. It was Richie, right? Rich,
Rich,
because she names her kid Rich.
just Rich. Yeah, she names her kid Richard after him. Yeah.
But that was something that I was like, that's cool. Like
Again,
subliminal things like that.
that's not subliminal when Pennywise has the conversation with the character and says, "You're gonna be Richard Dozier's mom."
That was cringy.
Like,
That was so cringy. I was like, oh, see, he's like, the implications of this now is that it is moving backward in time somehow.
well, yeah, it's just their way of doing their justification for more seasons, kind of.
I can see how they can write that and kind of be like, well, when the kids in the 80s, or after the adults versions of the kids kill it the first time when they were together, it was like him being born again. So he like is born just 26 odd years before now. Like he keeps reoccurring, but he's
Yeah.
traveling the opposite way. So he's going to keep doing this until the moment of his occurrence, or like his landing.
Yeah, like his forward life has ended and his backward life has begun at that moment when he like chooses to start going back. But that doesn't fuck. Yeah, to me that's just like that's one of the things where in the finale episode you have a character who is like the Margaret girl that you're talking about. She has been just like the character that we've known her to be the whole season who speaks one way and uses this one vocabulary, and then all of a sudden she is spouting sentences like somebody's going to be going to the past to stop something from happening in the future so that they can eliminate these events. And I'm like, whoa, girl, who gave you the script? Like,
Well, yeah, it's like it was that moment where Pennywise is like,
it's
"Look, this is your son, and he killed me." She was like, "What? Okay, this is kind of out of left
but
field."
any normal person, any normal person isn't going to grab their friend and just be like, hey, here, I'm going to start going into intricate time travel theories with you here. They'd probably just say, yo, that fucking clown spoke to me out there and he was saying stuff shit. Like, I didn't know what the hell he was saying, but like, that was crazy, dude. Like, they're not going to be like, but what if in the past, if he's moving backwards in a new life, like, she just started going into I am now the writer telling you what to be like. This is how we can do future seasons and what you should be excited about. Theorize, everybody.
Yeah, and I think
You don't need to jingle your keys in front of me.
one of the characters called her out, saying like, "Well, I guess that's just a battle or a fight for another group of kids or something. Like, that's not
Yep.
on us anymore."
Well, I guess that'll be somebody else's fight.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you got your paycheck. Get on out
Um,
until until you get called back for like the Avengers style team up where. Oh, yeah.
um, but yeah, if there's nothing else really about Welcome to Derry that you want to discuss, maybe we should talk about. Uh,
Again, there was actually so like there were some really creative shots, like effect shots and just things that they did of Pennywise being a shapeshifter, of Dick Halloran being a psychic, and like
yep.
they touched on some stuff from The Shining that, again, that tie-in feels a little ham-fisted, but like overall, it's cool to see some of that imagery and see some of that like visited in a way. So like one shot that I can think of specifically from that finale is when Dick Halloran is, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Hmm.
Uh, Dick Halloran is basically in like a psychic kind of little tussle with Pennywise, where Dick has constructed this like world for Pennywise to be trapped in for a moment, and then that
Yes.
makes him like physically stopped because he's having this big psychic battle. So Pennywise is like paralyzed basically, and then when Pennywise figures out that's what's going on, he takes action and boots Dick out of that. And when he kind of comes out of that, there's like this repeated shot from within Dick's mouth of him screaming, and
Yeah.
it keeps coming out of his mouth. And then it's like a Chinese nesting or a Russian nesting doll, where it's like a mouth inside of a mouth inside of a mouth, but we keep pulling back and seeing them and coming out of them, and it's a very like trippy and it is very much like you know an effect shot, but it's well done, and they do like I like when they do stuff like that
Same.
versus the bike chase in
The
like
Ghost
episode
Children.
3 or whatever, where it
The
felt
Ghost
like
Children.
you guys are going, yeah, you guys are going like 3 miles an hour on your old ass bikes, and these Halloween, like spirit Halloween ghost children are floating behind you. Fuck.
That Ghost Children thing. I was like, oh god. It was very evident that they didn't spend a lot of budget on that. I mean, it was just meant to scare the kids, and like it was really almost Disney, like Haunted Mansion style ghosts.
Sometimes there was a little too much going on in the show, where you had the daughter of Bob Gray, who was like still alive in that day, and being somebody who turned out to be, because she was always like every time that she was the nicest person in the entire town, I was like, nope, like we're literally just waiting for the other shoe to drop here,
Yep.
and it, it it's kind of weird to like take the like established thing of Stephen King and then be like, okay, and now we're gonna add our own thing to it.
Right.
Sometimes the two horror styles don't mesh the best, or like it doesn't. I don't know. It feels weird a little bit.
A little bit, and I thought they would destroy Dick Halloran. Like, I mean, when he was introduced as like a member of the military and doing like kind of like an MK Ultra ish thing with him, for this, conspiracy of finding these pillars to let fear, like that plot of the general kind of telling everybody, hey, we're going to go find this thing and we're going to contain it and get rid of this thing that causes fear. Or that
Yep.
was like the idea.
Raiden wanted to use Pennywise as a weapon.
Um, the idea of bringing Halloran in, I was like, oh, they better not screw this up because his character, you know, persists throughout, The Shining and Doctor Sleep and things like that. And bringing that whole shine into this, I was like, oh, I hope they don't like kind of retcon a lot of what made like Shining interesting, because it's coined by Dick Halloran and his grandma. Him and his grandma used to talk, and she would call it like she called it the shine, like you got the shine. And so,
People have a shine to them. Yep.
yep. And but I really liked his character in this, and I like seeing him at a younger age and trying to like understand and reflect on what Shining is and how he can contain some of these echoes in his mind, and how he's now, going forward, it gave him the sense of peace now that he can like talk to the dead, or and see the dead, and make sure people that are around the dead once they pass know about their, they love you and things like that. Like he can kind of put people at ease, and that was kind of
Which is
cool of him.
honestly similar to what Danny, like the role that he took in being Doctor Sleep, of helping elderly people pass on in ways that using his psychic abilities.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of has that follow through. It's like, okay, he's being consistent now. Like, and he passes this stuff
But
on to Danny.
I just, that's like one of the big things that I end up having at the end of the series is I'm thinking, we know that at least two characters are surviving and staying in Derry. And from the rules that they put down in this show and basically all the other stuff, those who stay in Derry don't forget, right?
Yep, you're right.
Because they went like out of their way in the finale to make that clear. Will is staying there, and he's like, "Oh shit! Well, that means that I." And he has a whole speech, and he's writing to Ronnie and saying, "Well, you're leaving. No, I'll remember, and I'll write to you, and I'll help you remember, maybe." And so then I feel like I need to ask the question for Will and for Margaret, who are staying at Derry when they have a child, or for even Dick Halloran, who then goes on and meets Danny Torrance later in life. How do these people not have one of the first conversations that they can with somebody that they care about and say, okay, I need you to sit down and take me super serious. Evil exists, and it looks like a fucking clown, and it lives in Derry, Maine. And like, this is what happened to me, and this is what could possibly happen. It happens every 27 years, apparently. Blah blah blah. Like, how is that not spelt out for people?
Yeah, like when they
If I was Will or Margaret, my children's children would know about that shit. Like, as soon as they're ready to handle that information.
that's what I think what happens in those 27 years is that once they kill Pennywise the first time, or like once, like, it's hard to put this into like a paradoxical kind of form because that's what this is. It's a backwards moving paradox while things are moving forward, and they're kind of like every time it dies, it's going backwards. So the people
No,
now in the
you're
future are
taking that
looking at
piece.
those books, like when Ben was like going through the library and reading about the history of Derry, subliminally he was seeing Pennywise the clown like in those. I'm thinking of like the 2016 film, I think, where it's little subliminal Pennywises and like clowns painted in or caught on camera. But that could have been something that only like Ben is not supposed to see, or it's like only the viewer and the audience is supposed to see that. But he's just reading about the history of like, oh man, this tragic factory burned down, or like the black spot, incident that happened, or like the Easter egg hunt. Like these major events are what's going to be the what do they call it, the augury of Pennywise when he does his cycle, right? His augury where he has to feed on a bunch of people all at once so he can like kind of be sustained, I guess, or feel all right. I've had enough. I can now rest for
I
27
think
years.
I think it's more of like a natural fucking byproduct of him.
Yeah,
It's just like at
that
some
totally could be
certain
it
point,
too.
things just boil over. There's no recourse. The augury is just something that fucking happens at the end of every cycle because he's that powerful. He's an eldritch god that yes, he may be contained even within one place, but like that doesn't mean that um because yeah, we're really getting into the weeds here, I think, but there's more that I could talk about with it. But it's that's who's to say that it's is bad quality, and I'm not saying that it's a bad show, but like it certainly is making us talk about it a lot, and that's a great thing to say about any show.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I appreciated from the intro. Every time I would watch the intro to kind of be like, oh, these are major events of Derry, these tragedies, and with like this really hopeful, bubbly, 50s song, and
Hmm.
sticking with that, like you see like the gangsters with their Tommy guns shooting stuff, and you see the Easter egg, the bunny, the Easter bunny falling out of a building, like you see these little images of the
Yeah, the
history of
fire
Derry.
of at the or the explosion at the ironworks, I believe, or steelworks, something
Yeah,
like that,
like that's what I
where
appreciated
like
is like
87 children died there.
you're gonna see these things eventually in the next season. Like you're gonna see how those things went down, and that's what I'm kind of like, oh, cool. Like they're sticking with the history of Derry and they're making these big plot points, because the big plot point in this one
Sure.
was the Black Spot fire where all those people were trapped.
Which that was cool to see. That was like honestly a massacre, let alone like, and I'm not even talking about the racial incident that occurred. I'm just talking about like the fire and that stuff. That was like horrific, just to like the right amount to show how he kind of feeds off of fear and not just death necessarily. It's not
Yeah,
about how many people die. It's about like the way that they may die, or what they experience during the entire thing, whether they die or not. Because yeah, but um,
and a lot of
yeah,
that was due
I
to like all the reactions of the off-duty cops and the people of the town that kind of were like showed up in masks. That could have totally been not a racial thing, but it could have been it or Pennywise making them feel those things and like fearing for their
oh,
lives.
will call A, will call B.
Yeah.
Um, it's- yeah, yeah. There's a lot more that I think I could talk about with it, but what's another piece of 2025 media that we can talk about here?
Um, we can stick to TV and maybe talk about the season finale of Stranger Things, since it's kind of similar to Derry.
Oh,
Um,
that last whole season.
the last whole,
Yeah,
yeah, part one, two, three, that had to be
volume one, volume two, and then the finale episode. It's such a
the
like
way they did that. I'm not a fan of how they dropped it. I was like, this
no.
is no, I don't. I think like maybe the finale could have been a two-parter also. Like I didn't need to have it be so long, where like they didn't take
Oh,
time
I'm
with
not
the
worried
final
about that.
boss.
I
I
I think that it's beforehand you're looking at it and you're saying, oh, okay, well then I would assume that they've kind of done this before, and the way that they've done it before is it would seem that they would have a story to tell that benefits from being split up that way.
Yeah,
Dramatic pause basically between your, which is like, hey, if you're doing that right, more power to you, man.
right.
But for the fact you're looking at that and you're saying, oh no 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 no, it's because they only had that one big cliffhanger to hang upon with episode 4 of this last season, and then from there it would be very much like kind of diminishing returns, and that's why the last one was so long, is because there was a so much to cover, but b it was like, here you go, here's what we got, be happy with it.
Yeah, I the way they released it, I'm just gonna say is not like it wasn't needed. It didn't help anything. There's too big of gaps between an episode. Like if they would just do it weekly, I'd be fine with that. But they had to like, oh nope, you get this four, and then on Christmas you get another three, and then New Year's you get one huge one. It's like no, no thanks, just release it weekly, please. Then like, cause it didn't
I
work.
took that to mean like, I guess maybe I was just too optimistic, and I was like, okay, all right, they have a first chunk which is gonna hit a certain way and prime us emotionally, or at least like story wise, for the next chunk, which will do the same for the last chunk. Each one will be like compoundedly more effective than the last because they will set each other up and they're Bob's your uncle. But
Yeah, didn't land.
I'm not sure that that is exactly like what happened. I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong.
But as far as the story and how it wrapped up, I was underwhelmed with the final boss a little bit. I like some parts of it. I
Yeah.
like the design of the Mind Flayer. It's in its true
Yeah.
form. I didn't know where it was in general, like space and dimension. Like, is that
Yeah.
wormhole thing in another planet, another dimension on another planet, or like how is the
Yeah.
upside down work into that? The upside down is just a wormhole space before you jump into another wormhole space that's connected to another dimension.
Yeah. It's but I pretty much agree all in all broad strokes. Like it was great to see what I felt like was a full realization of the whole idea of these kids being like, hey, we're playing D&D, and then we are also a real life D&D party that they kept hitting throughout this season, even of being like, oh, well, it's a sorcerer, not a wizard. It matters. Well, why the fuck does it matter? It's because they take themselves seriously as a like real life D&D party sometimes, and it was like, okay, this is fucking rad. Like we've got warriors with spears and like shields going in there. We've got like range people. We've got this is great. Like
Yep.
um yeah, it was a little bit disappointing just with you have this one villain that gets so built up and gets so much mouth service as to being so it kind of is the thing like it's the Voldemort thing. It's the like name it's like not necessarily Darth Vader, but I feel like you could name a good handful of characters that could speak to this, where it's like they get so built up, and then when they get defeated, any threat after the fact is very much like, well, what's the big deal? Or like it kind of cheapens that big boss a little bit too. You know what I mean?
It does.
In certain ways.
It does because I
Yeah.
thought it
So
was really interesting that they spent so much time on the Vecna character, even though we've had a prior season where it was all about Vecna and his, what he could do. But then, like, I was expecting at the end of that last season when that cliffhanger happened, where like all the smoke plumes were coming out of the fields and things like that. I was like, okay, now we're in for the big bad. The big bad is coming. But it was such a letdown because it was just more Vecna, and then the kids were just like, oh, this last boss, this Mind Flayer boss, easy. Just we're gonna shoot it a bunch of times, throw fire at it, dump gasoline, poke its belly, it'll be done. Like there needed to be higher
mixed
stakes
with
with that.
the I was honestly well see I kind of feel like the same thing that you're saying. Like it was a little bit underwhelming that the escalation was not there that there had been in the previous seasons as far as like the uh, monster presence or the upside down presence kind of like relating to the threat that they had. And I felt like I was okay with it still being Vecna, but I wanted to see like that ending, that same ending, but and I'm not talking about like the Battle of Helm's Deep type armies, but like maybe a small army of like Demogorgons and the fucking Demo Dogs, and hell, maybe even one new thing in between them, like Demo Squids or some shit like that.
They had a missed
That they have to
opportunity.
figure out. Like,
Yeah, I kept
Yeah,
thinking
I don't.
about the missed opportunity of like, okay, well, after the kids, save the world and 11 closes the gate, like, what does that mean for like the government that was there, their presence there, and like what did you know Sarah Connor, what was her deal? Why did she need to be there at all? Like, and where was she in the final moments? And she didn't get a send off or anything like that. They missed opportunity of like somehow getting the military on board with their plight of fighting the mind flayer would have, for one, maybe she could have had a heroic death fighting the mind flayer. A bunch of other casualties could have happened from the government, like actually finding this and documenting it and having evidence of, it's not just 11, it's this crazy thing that's causing these, weird occurrences. Um,
Hey man,
they could have
I
totally
there's a,
had that,
again,
and it was never a thought. It was
there's
like,
like a question that I would hate to ask
it's like, did
because
you guys?
the answer is either one that I don't know, that we don't know, or that is like just not satisfactory.
Yeah, because what was the point of bringing Sarah Connor into the show? Is just to be like, I'm the new bad guy on the human side, and
Well, just to show that like, oh, there's basically like, just to basically show like Dr. Brenner's not around anymore, but research continues, and there's people that are worse than him that have even less regard for the safety of anybody in the and yeah,
and
just
did
to
you know
be a
that?
very one note bad guy that
Did you know that some of these upside down creatures, these tentacles, when it's hot, they actually like, or when it's really cold, they can grab onto you, and when it's hot, they'll be more willing to release you. It's like because that there was that one scene with that tentacle monster like grabbing onto Hopper, and I was like, oh, this might come up later. Nope. She just wanted to demonstrate
it
how she
kind
knew
of felt like that. Yeah,
she knew
it felt
exactly
very
how to.
much like a setup for something like that. But I was like, I didn't know that. Like it felt, I recognized that too. I was like, this feels like one of those moments, but I'm waiting to see if it will come up again or not. 'Cause
I was like, wait, and then I
it's
think
like
about it
so.
like,
It's like
nope,
at the
not needed. Totally not needed.
we're in the end zone. Yeah, why would we be bringing up something like this where it's like, okay. But okay, here's a question that is like awkward to ask and answer. All right.
Okay.
Do you remember the scene where, was it Milbert Bobbert Brown? I think it was running through this the military facility inside of the Upside Down, and she was seeing all, or no, it was Kali when she was telling her story about escaping or whatever.
Uh huh.
She was running through those rooms with all of those pregnant women where they were like pumping the psychic blood into them
Oh
to
yeah.
hopefully create more psychic children.
Yep. They fully died.
Yeah, like that is the last time that we see them, and for all intents and purposes, because they're all strapped down to tables
Yeah.
in there's nothing to tell us that they ever have moved from there from that
And
point on or before. And
they
so
were in a
when
catatonic.
that entire dimension goes bye,
Yeah. And they were in a catatonic state, so like they would have had like covers maybe pulled over their heads. That could have sold the fact that maybe they were already dead because this tainted blood or something like that. Like just do something like that. Show maybe one that didn't have the sheet over their head, but then all the ones that she's running through the next, like maybe they have
hey,
sheets on them.
there you go.
Because
But
then we
like
don't have to be like, oh wait,
that's just
they're all
one.
they're all dead now. Like they're
They're all dead. They're all completely dead, and that is just one group or one aspect to be considered. Where it's also like probably when we really think about it, we can come up with some other stuff that is like not necessarily the same, but like kind of consequences, but similar or other repercussions that were not necessarily thought out.
yeah, and I don't know. It's hard to like I'll say this, I'm satisfied with how everybody had their send off at the end, except for maybe like the older kids, like the Steve Harrington and Nancy and Jonathan. Like I didn't really care about their like where they ended up. I was like, I didn't really follow it for them. Like they needed some kind of send off, but like I would more cared about the core group of kids, the D&D players. Like I
Yeah.
liked how they ended things with, you know, Mike basically telling their story and then telling the secret story, the secret ending, or the good ending, I guess you could call it. I enjoyed
Yeah.
that, like how he came up with that idea, because they wouldn't have showed
Well,
him having that idea if it wasn't for like the speakers at his graduation. Like, oh wait, yeah, there were those kryptonite speaker things that were blasting her, you know, when she was there, so she wouldn't be able to
Doing what with it?
yeah.
penetrate my mind
Yeah.
and be able to
That
talk to me.
that's that moment. I was just like, uh-oh, are we just in for another, like, here's another twist on another twist on another twist? How many times are we going to go through this?
Yeah, so like I think there's only one way to interpret how that ending happens because of the implications and the stuff leading up to that and him telling that story. I mean, I think
Well,
he meant
what do you mean?
for them
There's only
to,
one way.
well, because they explicitly showed him looking at those speakers at his graduation and then having him like kind of reflect on like, oh wait, yeah, she wouldn't have been able to talk to me about, you know, having to say goodbye to, you know, the friends that made her feel welcome and things like that. Like he wouldn't have had that, he wouldn't be able to have that conversation with her. So unless she was free and out of the range of those things. So it's, you can only really take it one way because you can't explain
Well,
that, I guess,
I feel like
given the lore
part of
and
that
things
is
like that.
null and void by them showing her alive and well at the end. Like,
Exactly, like that's like it's
none
not just his
none of that is a
story.
mystery anymore, because it's like,
It's
well, it
not.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the fuck happened or what he saw, because it's psychic bullshit. It's like unreliable narration to me. You know what I mean? It's like, are we seeing it from his perspective? Are we seeing it from her perspective? Who the fuck knows? Because it can always be like, well, that's what they wanted to see. Okay, but that's never been communicated, either non-verbally or verbally. So how, like, are you telling me that I'm stupid?
Yeah, like
No, you can't just come up with
you got.
something that's like,
I've watched Twin Peaks. Okay, I know it. Like, I know exactly
oh,
how to
that's
read
like,
into things.
that's not fucking storytelling. Is to, in an interview, weeks or months after something is said and done, to be like, well, that's what they wanted to see, or some bullshit
That's what
like
they
that, where it's
wanted to
like,
believe. Like, no, 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 I'm not
that's
an
not
idiot.
the answer.
I'm a smart watcher. I've, you know, I can see what you
You
put on.
showed a fucking scene where the character lives.
You wrote the scene.
It's not about what anybody wanted to see.
You
It's like,
explicitly
what, it
showed
doesn't fucking.
things that,
You're
you know,
telling me
make
that
people
your scene
believe
is
something.
irrelevant because I've seen the aftermath.
Yeah, it's
What are you guys talking
You're
about?
trying to set it
well,
up as being like a whole big mystery that I should be thinking about. Like, well, you can take it however you want. That's the magic of storytelling. It's like, dude, you just. It's not about taking it how I want. You just showed me how it is, and
there,
that's fine.
you just showed me how it is.
You don't try to have it both ways.
Yeah. Bradshaw is just joining us. Bradshaw, we're going through 2025, our year in
welcome,
review
Bradshaw.
of different media that we've been, you know, watching throughout 2025, and we talked about paintings so far. We talked about TV shows. Right now we're in the midst of talking about the finale of Stranger Things. I don't know if you have a take on it, Bradshaw.
What part of it?
Like how it all wrapped up. I guess that's where we're at.
Just thoughts, bud.
It was
You
fine.
got thoughts? Lay them out.
I don't have any hot takes or anything. I thought it was fine.
It'd be a
I
hot
mean,
take.
it was.
Just
They're. I mean, it's always going to be difficult to wrap something up like that.
The fandom
But-
totally is not like they were coping a lot. I don't know if you guys have watched or, you know, saw anything after they.
Well, some of the
Dude,
online fandom.
I don't
yeah.
I dare
mean, a lot
I
of
don't dare to
people-
comment on the fandom. Like,
Well, the fact that they
it's a
were
lot of- 'cause
expecting a
lot of the
ninth
people I
episode,
talked to were. Yeah, that was silly.
that was very silly and very.
I don't
like,
know why.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
there was
they
a
thought
secret
there was some
secret ending
secret ninth episode.
that was supposed to happen like on the actual date of like Will's birthday, or like it was something
like
weird.
November 6th.
It was. They thought it was going to release like a week or two after the thing happened, but it didn't. It's like, I don't know why they thought that. It was stupid, but
It was really dumb.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like,
I don't know about
reading
any of their thinking. I don't want to speak to it.
No, they were reading too much into like, what was the significance of the clock? Why did the clock say this? Oh, it's actually the date that we're actually going to get that 9th episode. And it's like, oh God, you guys know. Like, I mean, I love the
a lot of the people,
the ideas that you're portraying, and I mean, it would have been cool to see that, but
this is where
done.
you give a constructive and playful little tap on the behind and say, "Hey, love the enthusiasm. Get back out there.
Get back out there,
You
kid."
just send them on their way.
You
just send them on their way.
You just say, "Bless your heart," and then let them go.
Well, maybe we can't do that now. Maybe we just give them a high five.
Yeah.
A lot of the people I talked to about it were either just like, "Yeah, it was fine," or just didn't like it. I would say I'm in the.
Yeah, it was fine.
I'm in the. It's fine camp. Like I think that's fine.
Yeah,
the only grievances I had, and that we talked about probably before you showed up, Bradshaw, was that I was just underwhelmed with the final boss and the more explanation of Vecna. Like I thought there could have been more stakes involved in that final fight that could have had better feelings to them, but like I liked how they wrapped up the core group of kids stories, and like that's kind of
I was gonna
at
say
the end of the day, that's all that matters.
I liked the epilogue. I enjoyed quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all the winding down of everything, and like, you know, the graduation, the older kids having their little thing on top of the squawk, and then the younger kids wrapping up their campaign, and then there's the whole like hope of 11 still being alive and not, but you know, and then closing it out, and then, you know, the next gen of kids coming down to start their campaign stuff. Like, it was all good. I liked that stuff.
Yeah.
And I did appreciate the introduction of like a new crop of kids. Like that was kind of nice.
Just shows that it keeps going, right? I like, you know, the symbolism of them shutting their binders and putting them on the shelf. It's kind of like a farewell to their characters too. Like, oh, I'm done. Here it is. You know, I liked all that stuff. I thought that stuff was good, and that was the more important thing to me, I guess. I know at this point, especially in like things that are going to be big action fight scene things, like it never is what you want it to be. Like, it never works out right or well. I mean, sometimes it does, but not often, and especially when it's like something like this where there's a bunch of, you know, expectations put on it because it's the end of the series. I was like, yeah, it's probably not going to be, that part's not going to be great, but all I care about is like the end, like the wrap up of everything.
Same.
And I thought that was done well. So.
Yep, I give it a fine. It's not, you know, it's not on the levels that some people are saying that it's the equivalent of like a Game of Thrones ending where it's completely like just shat.
No, not even close.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Like, I'm sorry, I really hate saying that, even to like, I feel like bad talking disparagingly about Game of Thrones in that way, but like, it's kind of deserved just on the.
Oh yeah, you can tell the showrunners of Stranger Things cared about, you know, giving it a good send off. The creators of Game of Thrones were like, we want to rush this. We want to get this done. Like, we don't want to do another season, though HBO was like offering to do more seasons of the show. They're like, no, we're done. We'll just rush it and be done.
Yeah, they were checked out.
One of the differences too is that like this is the Duffer Brothers concept, right? It's their show, whereas Game of Thrones was just a licensed thing, right? So like they actually cared at stake in the game.
That's what I'm saying. Is like I'm just mad and salty about the ending of Game of Thrones, and just it had so many great seasons leading up to that. But we don't have to get into that right now because that's old media.
No,
we're talking about 2025.
That's another cat out of the bag. May I just cover one more quick thing about Stranger Things before we move on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I would genuinely love to ask Eric about his highlight of 2025. But last thing about Stranger Things, okay?
Yeah.
Can you guys please help me determine that if, let's say that hypothetically, I were to hold any member of the cast personally responsible for any shortcomings that I might hold attached to Stranger Things, who might that be? Should it be Finn Wolfhard? Should it be Sadie Sink?
No.
Um, should it be
Brown
who,
Bob.
who might
The
who might
the Brown Bobby Brown.
maybe Bobby
Okay,
Brown?
so explain the question
Wait,
again.
no, maybe Bobby Bon Jovi Brown.
Yeah, Brown Bon
Yeah.
Jovi. Brown Jovi?
Explain the question again, Wilson. Brown
Well,
Jovi?
if I needed to lay some sort of responsibility at somebody's feet for some kind of shortcomings that I felt were maybe attached to Stranger Things,
Yeah.
Brown.
whose fault are we going to say that should be? Maybe Bobby Jovi?
Bobby
I
Brown
think
Jovi.
as far as I think
I'm from the
especially
cast here.
this season, not because of the story choices, because I think the story choices were good by and large, but just due to overall performance, along with their amount of screen time, I'd have to say it was Noah Schnapp, Will, the guy with Will.
Okay. Well then, no snap. I want to let him
no
know that he.
disrespect, but you like, out of all the kids, quote unquote, I think he for the level of his importance in that show, I don't think his skill developed the same as the rest of them. I think the rest of them can act pretty damn good, but his was kind of stiff. You know what I mean?
He felt a little.
Seemed like someone acting.
He was trying hard to act. Yeah,
Yeah.
It didn't.
Well,
it felt like a chore.
just
It felt like it was really
authentic
hard for him to do it.
as the others.
I can't.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to comment on that. But what I will comment on is
You
that
just wanted us to get the heat on us. I see how it is.
I see.
No,
I see
I
his
want
game.
you to help me know who to put my sights on. But now I got it. And so Noah Snap, I want to let him know that he frigged up a little bit by whatever he involvement he had to make the tie in Chips Ahoy of fudge chewy cookies with a hard, disgusting, chalky, not strawberry flavored center.
Oh no, Stranger Things cookie.
Those things are terrible.
Oh god.
And the strawberry Eggo waffles.
Oh, I blame Bobby Jovi.
You're blaming marketing on that stuff, huh?
No.
Or you're blaming the marketing stuff on him, huh?
I told you. I said it's related to Stranger Things, but I asked about the question
show.
hypothetically, if I were to lay the blame on somebody in the cast, who might I be?
Netflix.
Who might that be? And you guys helped me admirably. Thank you.
I think it's
Snap. You're on notice.
I think it's Bobby Brown Jovi, but
sorry, Noah Snap. Did not mean that.
All right. Now,
I have not tried. Yeah, I had no idea that they
Brown Jovi.
I didn't know that they had a disgusting tie-in with cookies and Eggos. It's kind of weird.
You just rewrote Bon Jovi's entire music catalog for me, Bracho. He will never be Bon Jovi anymore. He will now be his multiversal alter ego, Brown Jovi.
John Brown Jovi did?
Like
Bobby,
a Latino man who made it large with
So I think
Brown Jovi
we should let Bradshaw jump in here with a piece of media that maybe stood out to you in 2025. It could be anything, like I mentioned, comics or graphic novels and things like that, or a movie or a show that you really connected with.
I have to even remember what came out then.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
Oh,
we
I mean,
we
it didn't have to come out.
What did you say?
I fucking called out something from a novel from like '80s.
oh yeah, we did talk about a book that Wilson is or read, and I'm currently listening to right
I
now.
read it last year in 2025. I'm just talking about pieces of media that we consumed in 2025. Not
Exactly,
necessarily had to come out, I guess.
but yeah, I mean,
Oh no, yeah, that's tough.
something that really stood
Uh,
out, and that's the thing. Like, it
well,
could have been a movie, and also that released this year, or just a TV show that you got
there's
hooked on.
a 1-2 punch of fucking Nosferatu and Frankenstein. That's pretty sick.
Some Nazi boy
You know what I
Nobody's
mean?
that came out.
nobody's
Nosferatu and when did Nosferatu come out?
That came out Christmas last year, didn't it?
Oh well, fuck. Well, Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's good. I was gonna say, yeah, that's the one we talked a
Frankenstein
little
was
bit
pretty
about.
tight. I mean, it's
yeah, I mean,
recent, but
those
that
things you
is
can still
stuck in
count.
my
It's
head.
okay.
No, yeah, it definitely counts. It's a piece of media that I connected with too. I really
Um,
enjoyed it, and I thought it was when we talked about it
But
last. I really enjoyed our discussion on it.
I'll go a real broad show route too. I'll hit a couple comics.
Yeah,
Uh, the run of New Gods that wrapped up this or that went on this year. I was gonna come back, but it's did 12 issues, written by Ram V, the art by Evan Cagle, and then there would always be like a little like few issue like flashback sequence that was done by a different artist each book or each issue. That series was really fucking good. Um, Also, just the overall another DC thing, the Absolute Universe. All those books have been really good. Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute
I
Green
have not.
Lantern, Absolute Flash, Absolute Martian Manhunter. They're all really good and they're all very different and they're all really fun. Interesting takes, new takes on those characters.
nice.
I have not had super chances to talk to you about the Absolute Universe, so it's nice to hear what you think. What do you think about the DCKO events, Bradshaw?
It's what I like about.
I can tell the enthusiasm. Immediately. I love it.
Well, it's like it's what I like with now at this point, like after weathering weathering the storm of like event fatigue in comics for the last 20 years since Infinite Crisis and Civil War kicked it off. What I like about events now, because like stakes don't matter, we know at this point it's whatever, but like
Yeah.
it's what I like most about them now is if they're dumb and fun, you know,
Mm.
like
And full
which
of
DCKO is.
yeah, oh yeah,
It's big.
Yeah.
It's like reality altering. It's dumb. Superheroes having to fight to the death in a tournament to get some fucking energy to help reshape the universe or defeat Darkseid. That's stupid, and it's fun because
It's
like
just,
that's stupid.
yeah.
it's superheroes and villains fighting each other and just working each other. Like first issue was big dumb fun. Second issue was kind of whatever. Third issue that just came out a couple weeks ago, that was really fun. That was good. And then the tie-ins have been fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there's a Batman ends up getting taken out like right before or right as the first round is gonna start. But he gets like it's Batman, so he figured out a trick and like or some like apocalyptic armor or something that helps that like rejuvenates you or revives you if you die. And then the thing that's doing the tournament like caught him and is putting him through this like these trials, which are essentially him facing like future versions of his Robins as Batman and like the worlds that they're in, and like yeah, it's a Batman beating beating the game because it's Batman series and it's really fun. called Night Fight with a K, Knight
Night
Fight.
Fight.
That's really fun. And then there's like a fight month where I think there wasn't an issue of KO that month, maybe, but there was a bunch of either one shots or issues of characters series that were all different, like the fights that those characters, like Aquaman's issue that month was Aquaman versus Hawkman. Flash's issue that month was Jay Garrick versus Guy Gardner. Titan's issue that month was Cyborg versus Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing sounds fun.
There was a Superman versus Captain Atom one shot. There was a
Well, what's fun, Tyler, is that from what I understand about it, like let's say I believe it's like a best 2 out of 3 thing for the fights, and
it is
at the start of each round of those 2 out of 3, the combatants are posed with the like option to choose one of their multiversal like forms, basically. So like
different versions of themselves from throughout time and the universe, multiverse.
So like fucking just as an example, broad show, just like it could literally be like Batman choosing to be like Dark Knight Returns Batman, where he's big, beefy, Frank Miller style kind of like shit. What if you wanted to? And then he can change to another one for the next round, etc. So it's like really, I think that's such, like you said, Bracho, that's such a like fun, cheesy fun way to celebrate these characters, is to just be like, you know what, fuck continuity, let's just bring back designs that we like for characters that like people love.
It starts. They start doing that in the second round. First round they're just themselves, and then like the second round, then they can choose a form, and it can be something like, let's see, say it's like he was saying, like it was Batman or Superman. Like it could be Superman from now, or it could be like potential future Superman. It could be like him as Superboy. It could be when he had his weird electric powers. It could be multiversal Superman from different whatever. So yeah, any like, famous or iconic version of that character it can be, right?
That does sound like just like a unrelenting fun ways to speculate. Now I can maybe talk about like, well, they didn't really show him at this level, but like now I can think about that for myself, like, oh, I wonder how this version of him would do in this situation.
So issue 3, the most recent one, spoiler alert for any nerds, they the round that they're in is a team up round. So they get the opportunity to bring back one of the people, one of the fighters that had died in previous rounds as their partner in that round. So one of the fights was Wonder Woman versus Cyborg, right? Wonder Woman chose Big Barda to bring back, and Cyborg chose Connor Hawk, Green Arrow, the son of Green Arrow. But what was cool about it wasn't just like the team up, it was like why they chose them. So like Wonder Woman chose Barda not just because she's strong, but because she has knowledge of Apocalypse and stuff. So she wants to try and get as much knowledge out of her about the situation as she can.
Okay.
And like Cyborg with Connor Hawk Green Arrow, his reasoning was that he will use his like nanobot crap, go into Connor Hawk, and it reinforces him and makes him strong. But it also allows Cyborg, I don't know if it was the nanobots or some other piece of tech, but it allows Cyborg to basically copy Connor's fighting abilities because he's a ridiculously good fighter. So you have essentially like a duplicate. You have a Cyborg empowered Connor Hawk and you have a Connor Hawk empowered Cyborg. So it's like something like that. Or Superman. It was Superman versus
Captain Atom.
who was it? No, that was in the first round or round 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Who was it? Oh, I just read this too a couple weeks ago. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Superman's fighting, and he chose Shazam as his partner.
Oh, cool.
And the reasoning was when Superman. God, it's gonna piss me off who he was fighting. When Superman needed essentially a power up, Shazam is able to bestow his powers on other people, like he does with the Shazam family, right?
Yeah.
Like all his. So Superman has Billy use that power, and you get a Shazamified Superman, which is super badass.
That does sound cool.
Yeah. He, so that issue was really fun, primarily because of it wasn't just that it was a team up and they were fighting, but it was that there was thought behind it,
Sure.
like thought behind the team up. Yeah, it was really cool. Like I said, it's a big dumb fun time. If you like big dumb fun times,
That's what 2025
you'll
is
enjoy
about,
it.
man. Big dumb fun times.
Yeah.
Compared to so far in 2026, not a fun time.
Right.
They
I was gonna say the final 4 is Superman, Wonder Woman, Joker, and Lex Luthor are the final 4. And then whatever Batman does. Batman's gonna Batman. He'll get there.
He'll do it. I
Whatever
believe in him.
happens in this class, he'll get there. I mean, so Scott Snyder, the writer of the book, he described, because he's done a few events. He's the writer of Absolute Batman as well. He describes the Dark Knight's Metal that he did as well, he was writing a Batman story the whole time, but because he did 50 some odd issues of Batman in the New 52, but that was a Batman story, and then he did the sequel to it, Death Metal, and that was his Wonder Woman story, and then KO he calls his Superman story. So I see, because there's covers out now, because solicitations are out for the final issue 5, and there's there are 2 covers. You can't always count on variant covers to tell you what's actually happening in the book. Sometimes they just look cool, but there's 2 variant covers. One of them, which I would not count as counting because it's been a series throughout this whole thing, is a wrestling style variant of Batman giving Superman a super suplex off the top turnbuckle.
Okay.
And then there was another variant that was regular that showed Batman and Superman kind of facing off. So I think just because he's on there twice, I think that Batman makes his way back into the tournament, gets to the finals, and at the start of the tournament, because the fact that they have to literally kill each other to gain this Omega energy, that's dark side power. Superman's hesitant because he's it's Superman, right? So it goes against everything he stands for. But the idea is the person who gets all the Omega energy and becomes King Omega, which is what KO stands for in this situation, is able to basically reshape reality, essentially. So if that's why it's like they're like, yeah, we could let's fucking go fight. We'll die. It doesn't matter. Whoever becomes, if one of us becomes King Omega, it can bring everybody back. It's whatever.
Sure.
And so like Batman at the beginning of it is like, Clark, you have to do this. Like you're like the best of us. You're the only one who should get this. But like you have but you have to do it genuinely, or else the thing that's in the center of the planet that's called the Heart of Apocalypse that has all this Omega energy in it. It like it's sentient to a degree, like so it'll know if you're like fucking with it, or if your heart's not in it, or if you're not, whatever.
Yeah.
So it'll, that's why it was responsible for bringing Batman to this weird, crucible he's going through,
Sure.
because he quote unquote cheated, and so like it's Superman trying to like do this at the end when he uses this of the most recent issue, when he gets all Shazammed out and he uses his powers to take out the people he's fighting. Oh, he was fighting Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan, and like he uses that and just wipes them out quick. And then there's a moment at the end where Superman notices Lex looking at him, and it weirds them out because it's not, Lex has never looked at him like that before, and it's because like Lex looks like impressed, like that Superman, let loose and did it. He looked it's a Superman that's chilling, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, Lex is impressed. So I think Batman coming back and it being those two in the end, and then I think Batman will be the one who, because he has to give it his all in the fight, or else this isn't going to work. Heart of Apocalypse isn't going to whatever. But I think it's going to be him like being like, Clark, no, like continuing essentially what he did in that first issue, which is like you have like supporting Superman and getting him to the point he needs to be at to do it. So yeah, it should be interesting.
No, at the end of the day, Batman gets what Batman wants, and if he wants Superman to win, he's going to make sure that Superman wins.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's gonna show up
Batman's
in the
not-
11th hour and be like, "Sir, Mr. Darkseid, I have something to say about this, and you're gonna have a listen. You're gonna just have a sit
Well, yeah.
and listen. Okay?"
He's not going to show up. He's not showing up thinking that he's going to be the one and like to like be the thing. Like he knows that's not his shit. Like he's clawing back from all of this to make sure what has to happen happens. Not that he wins, that what has to happen happens.
Oh, yeah, I just mean he's gonna get his way one way or another. And if he wants
exactly.
Superman to be the winner, he's gonna make sure that he gets his
Dude,
way.
if Batman wanted himself to be the winner, he will be the winner. You know what I mean?
But he needs to make sure that Clark's
already-
doing it.
He already tricked this fucking super powerful situation that's putting on this dumb tournament. He already tricked it.
I tricked
was
you.
like, "Nah,
I already
gotcha."
tricked you. Tricked you.
Tricked you.
Yeah. Tricked it.
You want to jump in, maybe talk about a show real quick, Bracho, and then maybe we can wrap it up with like a movie that we all watched that we really enjoyed.
Yeah, and what the fuck came out last year? Let me see.
Did any of you watch The Chair Company?
I haven't yet.
Tim Robinson.
I watched the first
Yeah.
episode.
Okay. That's one that was kind of like a sleeper one that maybe takes the top prize for me, just because I really liked Pluribus. I don't know if any of you watched that, but the concept of that show is a really great hook, but overall my sensibilities are leaning towards The Chair Company because I had a lot more fun watching each episode, because I was like, this is just too wacky and insane, and hit my funny bone more. But I do like Pluribus also. But the edge there comes from the chair company.
I'm a slut for a hospital drama, so
The
it
Pit.
was really good.
You know what, Bracho? I'm there with you. I finished those.
I haven't watched
and
season 2 yet.
I'm caught up
Let me
on
get on it.
I'm caught up on that also. So
But I loved, like, when I was a kid, I used to watch ER with my mom all the time,
same.
and
It
it's
was
the
always
same
on.
crew. Yeah, and it's the same crew that makes this show. And it's obviously got Noah Wiley. So like, I was like, oh, perfect. And I like the concept too, with each episode being an hour of the day of the shift.
That's
Like,
what I
a
enjoy
cool.
too. I like that because then you can just keep on seeing new patients, obviously, because they're
Yep.
in ER, so they have to keep getting beds ready for new people, and
Yep.
more things happen. And the critical moment that I really liked was the well, I didn't really like because of how sad it is, but the mass casualty
Yeah.
event that happened,
Yeah.
and how they all had to come together towards the final
Yeah.
parts of the season, like
And it was
bringing
great
these
because it's
new kids on, and they had to, like, on their first day had to deal with this crap.
yeah, and it was great because it just built off of, like, it worked. 'Cause, I mean, makes sense, but like any other storyline in a TV show, it builds throughout a season, right? But they were able to intermingle various storylines and like build this story to that point of that shooting.
Yep.
And connect that, back to the rest of the season. Like, it was just really well done.
I agree. And to talk a little bit about it is that Noah Wiley's character is the head, or like the chief doctor of the ER.
Yeah.
And he is overseeing these new recruits, these new residents that are showing up, and there's different archetypes of these residents. Like, one is kind of like a brash young woman who's like giving everybody nicknames, and she is sort of coming off as kind of like an asshole to everybody.
Yeah.
But she has moments of like, she's doing the right thing and she's doing good things, and she's, at the end of the day, she's trying to help people, which is awesome, but she's not really getting along really with a lot of her coworkers, which is kind of something that Noah Wiley's character is trying to instill on them, is like, you guys need to work as a team here. Like, this is a team thing. This isn't like an individual, like, I'm better than you or whatever. It's like, you come and you work together and you figure out the solution to these people's problems.
Yep.
But there's, other archetypes in there and plot lines and things like that. Really sad plot lines too.
You got
like,
the overly smart girl. You've got the girl that's not sure of herself. You've got the one that's a young, like a younger girl that's a daughter of a doctor, or a higher up doctor that works there.
Yep.
And she's concerned. She doesn't want people to know. She doesn't want to be like fucking feel like she's a nepo baby type situation.
And you have an atypical doctor that has kind of like has an autism spectrum disorder, where she has really sweet moments too. Yeah, that was a really good show, and season 2 is hitting it off right too, because it takes place now on like 4th of July, so obviously there's going to be a lot of burn victims, or people blowing themselves up. Yeah. But it gets, what's fun about it is it gets the technical stuff right, and it's not as cinematic as something like ER was. It's like, it's voyeuristic with its camera, so it's like you are basically a doctor with them, and like, you're at eye level with all of these doctors. You're maybe following a little bit lower, so you're just seeing like most of their back, and you're just kind of like peeking over their shoulders and looking at the patients, and then getting right in there. And they do a really good job. And it was, and what's cool is that after I finished the first season, they talked about how they implemented some of the tactics that are used, in the show for, mass casualty events, where they use the slap bracelets and things like that. Like, that's actually something that they're now putting into real hospitals and like making a difference with that stuff. And I was like, hey,
like
that's
the
really
Star
cool.
Trek effect.
Yeah. Art imitating life, and life imitating art. Like, it was fun to see that. But yeah, that's a good one. Now let's finish out with maybe a movie in 2025 that you guys maybe discovered or maybe you wanted to watch. I mean, Bradshaw, you touched on Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Loved it.
Wilson, did you
Good
have
time.
one?
Yeah. I gotta call out that freaking Czechoslovak. It was just one that I discovered, but that Czechoslovakian version of Beauty and the Beast that we watched.
Oh my god, yeah, that was a great. That's my
Prana
favorite
i
version
Netvor,
of Beauty and the
something.
Beast.
What is it?
Fucking good, dude.
It's a was
I
it
don't know if you
Dutch?
joined us for that one, Bracho.
What'd you say
No,
it was?
I
It
did
wasn't.
not.
It wasn't Dutch. It was something else.
It's no Czech. It's a Czechoslovakian film from the 70s that is basically a telling of the Beauty and the Beast story, and it's just like super atmospheric and dark and gothic and very like instead of being like a like bear buffalo beast guy, he's just a fucked up bird dude, and it's like the castle
chandeliers
itself is kind of a character, and like it's just great.
I love how they did the
Sounds sick.
inanimate objects being human, like the chandeliers and the candelabras, and just the derelict castle. Like I liked how this version of the castle was more like dilapidated and like being taken over by the elements, other than like the Beast Castle in the Disney one is just like this really ornate and like just cold castle where it's like he doesn't use a lot of the stuff, but it's not like broken down and disheveled and stuff. It's like it's reflecting what the Beast has become as like this destroyed man. So it's like he destroyed his castle in his rage and stuff. Really cool.
This is just a freaked out bird looking dude that lives in an old destroyed ruined castle. Like,
yeah,
get over it.
Hell yeah.
That's what he do.
I'll say quick too that
Superman.
I really enjoyed. Yeah, Superman. Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yep, it felt like a comic book to me in the best ways, and it felt like Superman, which was really important to me. So
yeah, I was gonna say if you didn't remember that, I was gonna remind you like Superman came out.
Yeah.
Also.
brother, yeah, it's like as you know, I just got done with work not too long ago, so my brain is just like, bleh. And so I was like, oh shit, I have to think of a thing. God damn it, I don't know.
Well, it's things that you're interested in anyway, so it shouldn't be that too hard to dig in there. But
no, it just takes a minute for it to surface.
I will say, there's a few movies, but I'm gonna stick with maybe just mentioning a few. But one that really stood out, Weapons is a big one that stood out this year that I liked.
That was a lot of fun. I like that too.
The recent it was a Netflix drop of Train Dreams. I think I watched that recently. That was a really sweet kind of movie along some sensibilities that I like in films.
Cool.
I wasn't too big on Eddington or Begonia.
Begonia. I really like the word Begonia.
Begonia was a fun word to say.
That's our boy Yorgos, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a
Yorgos Lanthimos.
If I was to choose
we've
Begonia,
covered him before on Reel to Reel or
true.
Dogtooth.
Wake Up Dead Man was another one that came out on Netflix, right? The Ryan Johnson one.
Yeah, the new Knives Out.
The Knives Out, yeah. That one was
I haven't
really
seen
good.
that one yet.
I like that one over.
I haven't even finished the original.
The second one, the Glass Onion one, I prefer.
Glass Onion was silly. Like the first one was a fun blend of like, it almost it felt like a little bit more serious version of Clue.
Yep.
But like kept some of that fun.
Sure.
the second Glass Onion was silly. Like that one was just straight up silly.
Right.
Baileys.
And that's how I felt with Sinners. Also came out this year.
Yes.
Sinners felt like it was just From Dusk Till Dawn, but tweaked a bit.
The end.
So like, I mean, it
was-
had fun elements throughout, but it felt silly in moments too. But I mean, it had a lot of different stuff. It was tonal
There are
shifting throughout the film that was like, okay,
like,
now
the
it's
first
this
two
film.
acts. Yeah, the first two acts of that movie, I loved. Like, there's great character development and story stuff, a lot of fun symbolism, like all sorts of fun and creative ideas. But then once we get to, like Act 3 is the freaking, it just immediately turns into From Dusk Till Dawn.
Right.
And then like, which is fine, but like when your first two acts are like that good,
Yeah.
like it like because they did that From Dusk Till Dawn thing really good, but it's still that. You know what I mean?
It's still the same
it was still
formula.
that.
It's formula that I've
Yeah.
seen before.
And
It was a fun
like,
ride.
the music and the score I like throughout most of it.
Sure.
There was one time where it came in and it sounded like a weird like lo-fi like metal tinged thing from a B movie for like a second, which I get is like part of the, like it's probably intended, but like it just kind of took me out of it for a minute.
Well, it's a homeboy
Like I
that
loved
did the homeboy that did the
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Yep. Which the rest of it is great. I love the scene where that's like where they're dancing and it's like going through like music through time and shit like that. That was amazing.
It was piercing the
But, like,
veil.
there's-
They call it piercing
Yeah.
the veil.
Yeah.
My music's so
Am I-
strong.
Am I crazy, or did the Penguin TV show come out in 2025?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, but that is also a good one if it
Oh
did.
That was great.
that was a great like fun ride through. Yeah,
I will say also, One Battle After Another, the Paul Thomas Anderson.
2024 Penguin.
I have not seen that yet, but I wanna watch
Me
that.
either. Yeah, me too.
I would recommend it. It's a really fun. In parts, it's kind of silly. It's really a mirror to today's time, like today's kind of culture and the things that are happening in politics in America and things like that. But it also has a subliminal kind of just like father-daughter dynamic where it's taking on actual real life moments of Paul Thomas Anderson's wife, who is Maya Rudolph, and some of her biography about talking about her mom and things like that. He borrowed a lot of those stories from real events and things like that. So you see some of these things that are really true to life, and really fun. Like I love this version of Leo. His character in the movie was just so like bumbling and funny, and such a fun juxtaposition to like this world of these terrorist groups essentially that are. He's just trying to get out of the situation, but now he has to protect this girl. I mean, it's a ride. I don't want to spoil and talk too much about it, but I do recommend it. But the movie that I want to talk about that I really enjoyed watching was it was called Caught Stealing. The Austin
the
Butler and
Austin Butler, Matt Smith,
and Vincent D'Onofrio
another
and
one. Yeah,
Liev Schreiber
it's
and like
another one.
Carol Kane is in it.
I'm not familiar with this, but I'm down from this cast. Okay.
So I'll give it a brief rundown. It takes place in the 90s, and it's about a bartender that was once a prospect for like a Major League Baseball, and something happens to him in his past that he has to abandon that dream, and now he works at a bar in Manhattan, or in just New York, in one of the boroughs of New York, and he stumbles across a neighbor of his that's leaving on a trip, and he has to take care of his cat. And from that, this crazy, situation happens to him where he's thrust into this world of gangs, violence, you know, killing people, and like police are after him, and all these people are trying to find what this guy left behind and this money that's stashed away somewhere. And it harkens back to this film that Martin Scorsese did called After Hours, which is kind of funny because Griffin Dunn, this actor who played the main character in this Caught Stealing, or not in Caught Stealing, but in After Hours, plays a bit part in Caught Stealing where he plays the same character essentially. Like in this universe, it would be fun to think about that because they have the same name, and the main character in Caught Stealing works at a bar called Paul's Bar, and that's who the main character is, and After Hours is. And it's just it's a fun romp. It reminded me a lot of like video game quest and like mission progression, like in like a Grand Theft Auto, where it's like this thing leads to that and this goes wrong, that leads to this and this outcome. And it really felt like a 90s version of like when I played Cyberpunk, where there's a lot of walk and talk and a lot of like exposition happening while you're driving somewhere or doing something, and like you're getting more information about the big picture of things. And yeah, it was just for some reason I got myself returning to that film and being like, I had a lot of fun with this and the people that live in this world. And yeah, Matt Smith is an amazing part of that cast too, and he plays a British, you know, punk rocker from the 90s. And I was like, yeah, this is just a quick step away from, you know, him dropping lines like, "Hey, Choom, let's zero this," you know, like talking like a cyberpunk character. And it was just, I kept thinking that he's just he's so close yet so far from that world.
So close. So close.
But yeah, those are some of the films that.
Did you see Bring Her Back?
Bring Her Back. Oh yeah, the Filippo dudes. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. That was
fun too.
that was a very hard
I shouldn't
film.
say fun.
No, like it was
Very
very.
sad, but
It was disguised as like a very sad film, or like it was a horror movie, but it was a depressing movie.
it was very depressing. Yeah, it was tight.
It was tight, but not a film that I would revisit and be like, I want to live in this world. Sure, I want to feel this all the time. But yeah, that pretty much does it for, I mean, discussions of our media that we digested throughout this past year in 2025. We're on to 2026 and things like that. Anybody excited for 2026 media?
Always
Yeah, I
excited.
suppose. Oh, hey, I'm excited for Godzilla Minus Zero. I'm always
Hell yeah, dude.
gonna be excited about my new G-Man.
We got to talk more
Fucking,
G-Man.
Supergirl, Lanterns, brother. You got Lanterns coming up. I'm jacked for that.
There we go. We didn't really get into video games that we consumed, but I mean, one of the big ones for me was Expedition 33. Fun game.
Sure.
Just a fun
Fun.
time.
Fungible game.
Mega Bonk, fun. Sure. I played it. It was fun. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Haven't played it yet, but have it downloaded, or you know, it's bought.
I've got the first one.
I got the file.
I've got the file, Luigi.
I found the files in the computer.
In the palm of my
Luigi.
hand.
And thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for a wonderful rest of 2026 with the Fargonauts. Say
This is
goodbye.
just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
This is only the beginning.
This is just the beginning. Oh, man.
Bye.
I don't say goodbye. Shoot, I said it.